Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Class number 391. Wow. It's been a long journey that we've taken together and a very fruitful one because we have learned so much from each other about the secrets of life that can help us live better, be better, have more, and experience a life of abundance and joy and happiness. Our topic for today is living beyond limitations. I'll put it in the personal because the only limitations that exist are those that we acknowledge. So let's make it personal. Living beyond your limitations. For those of you joining us on Instagram and on YouTube, this is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I'm author of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. And I invite you to visit our website, www.herbertharris.com, and get a copy of our book and some of the other courses that we have. Also, this is a special day because we are now beginning to move into the last portion of the year. And it's so critical, so important that we have a process for getting better. Before we get started, let us take a moment and center ourselves in a meditation that can put us in the point in time and space where we are one. Let's sit straight up in our seats, put our feet flat upon the floor. Close your outer eyes and open your inner eyes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in the space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peace sink in. And in the space of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. And in this space and in this consciousness of openness and learning, we say, and so it is. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This topic today, living beyond your limitations, is a very, very powerful topic. Napoleon Hill dealt with it very efficiently. He said, the only limitation is that which one sets in their own mind. The only limitation is the one that you set in your own mind. Ogmandino went on a little further to say, or permit others to set up for you. So the only limitations that truly exist are the ones that you acknowledge in your own mind or that you permit others to set up for you. You know, that's an interesting dynamic right now, this portion at this time in the year, because life itself has a way of presenting us with boundaries, some are real boundaries, some are imagined boundaries, limitations. There may be physical limitations, there are challenges, financial struggles, emotional wounds, societal constraints and expectations. But one of the things that we see over the years is that our perceived limitations do not define us. And that the mindset that can help you get through this is that perceived limitations, blocks, do not define you, but really invite you to rise above them. So whenever you have that David and Goliath moment, welcome it, because you know that when you are victorious, you will be the king of your being, king of your space, that you will be happy. You will receive the goodies, the things that are the rewards for victory and for achieving things. I love to think of overcoming limitations as like the other side of no. The other side of no, that side of no that says yes. That side of no that only you can see beyond and only you can reach on your own. The limitations that we perceive are the ones that lock us up. I often think about the bumblebee. The bumblebee has no idea that it should not be able to fly. The bumblebee aerodynamically should not be able to fly. Yet it does, and yet it can. So this idea of limitations is really an illusion. It's an illusion in your mind, in our minds. All of us can experience these things at different times. It may be fear of failure, fear of success. It keeps you from really going for it and being flat out about it. It may be doubt that you really don't have what it takes. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the skill set. You don't have the whatever you need to get where you want to go. It may be negative self-talk. Negative self-talk always fascinates me because it is the negative operation of the law of command. The law of command basically says, speak it. Whatever you say, you get. And so when we look at negative self-talk, although we often do it in a very subconscious way, when we say negative things about ourselves, about the things we can't do, the things that we don't have the ability to do, we don't have the tools we do, we don't have the resources to do, we literally put a limitation on our own potential. It's a lot like someone once said, if you took a jar of fleas and you took this jar of fleas and you had a top on it, one of those mason jars, you don't see them anymore, but a mason jar filled with fleas, the fleas will jump up and hit the top of that jar, that lid. And over a period of time, they realize that every time they hit that lid, it hurts. And so they don't jump that high anymore. You can remove the top from the jar and they won't be able to jump out because their perceived limitation that they're going to experience pain when they go above a certain level. So we're talking about a mind shift, a challenge to our belief system that opens us to creativity. So when we experience that idea, why me? Why am I broke? Why am I unhappy? Why don't I have the things I think I should have? Then flip the script and say, why not me? Why shouldn't I be rich? Why shouldn't I be happy? Why shouldn't I have all the things I desire? The moment you make that shift, you literally put the law of expectation into operation. You see, whatever you project, you get. So if you project limitation, you get limitation. In the book of Job, Job said, the things I fear have come upon me. And so if you fear failure, you will never be a success. If you fear change, you will never grow. So what is this idea of limitation being anything other than an illusion? Well, that's a lie. All limitations are illusions. So how do you get beyond the limitations? Well, the key is that living beyond limitations requires faith, faith in the process, faith in God, faith in the Creator, faith in yourself. So if you don't have faith in yourself or faith in the process, then the limitation becomes very real for you. But when you look at that limitation now, and you say, well, you know what, I can do this. So instead of seeing a wall, you look at the wall as a ladder. That every limitation perceived is an opportunity to overcome, knowing that once you overcome it, you'll be stronger, you'll be better, you'll be faster. In addition to having faith, you must have a vision. You must have an idea of what your promised land means to you. If you don't have a vision of the person you would like to be, doing the things you want to do, having the things you want to have, you can never get there. You can't get to the promised land until you know where it is and what it is. So vision is a compass that guides us operating through faith to overcome any challenge that confronts us. Wow, that's powerful. So many people have done it. You know, this is not something rocket science. You look at Helen Keller. You know, many of you young people may not be aware, but Helen Keller was just such an incredible person. She was deaf and blind from infancy. Now, she could have accepted that limitation, a life of silence and isolation, but instead, through faith, through determination, and through guidance. So often in life, you need somebody to guide the way. I like to call it the Moses principle. Somebody there to guide you from where you are to where you want to be. Anne Sullivan was a lady who really guided her and inspired her. But Helen Keller became an author, an activist, a lecturer. She showed that vision is not confined to sight, but vision is a spirit, is a vibration of something you want to be, do, and have. One of her most famous quotes, she said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight without vision. And so this idea of limitations means that if you can, number one, have faith in your ability to overcome the limitation, and then two, have a vision of what you want to be on the other side, as you might say. You have to see the other side. If you have those two things, nothing is impossible. Absolutely nothing. You can do, be, and have anything you want. Now, it's not enough now just to see it. It's not enough just to change the mindset, to look at a limitation and say, I can overcome this. I make a decision. You must act on it. You see, action always confirms decision. So action must follow. The moment you decide, okay, I can get over this. I can overcome this. I failed this challenge 5 or 6 times, but I'm going to go again because look at all the things I learned in failing. I've been disappointed many, many times, but I can go again because the odds are this is my time. The odds are that this is the time that I'm going to make it. You know, in sales, we often say you have to get through all the no's to get to the yes. And so you have that mindset like, hey, you know what? I failed so many. This is my time. It's my time to take action. And so one of the key things in getting through limitations is to realize that every small step forward undermines the limitation. When you look at how people get involved in, for example, 12-step programs to overcome, you know, alcoholism, drug addiction, one of the mantras of that program is one day at a time, one step at a time. And so this idea of overcoming the limitation, overcoming whatever that barrier is, don't be intimidated by the size of the barrier, but be motivated by the size of the reward. Don't be intimidated by how challenging it may be. Be motivated that you can take one step at a time, one small step, one courageous choice, and then acting on that choice. You know, sometimes people pursue, my daughter's grandmother, I think she pursued her college degree when she was over 60 years old. It was something she'd always wanted through circumstances of life. But at 60, she went back to college. Many people may pursue education later in life, but you get there by one small step. The one that just to overcome the idea that it's too late, but then two, let me look at some colleges that can accommodate my schedule, that can accommodate my experiences, that I can get credit for some life stuff I've done. So this idea of action is the key to transcending any limitation, to overcoming any barrier. Starting a new business after a setback. There are many of us that are serial entrepreneurs. If you talk to some of the great ones, they'll tell you, man, I made it on my 7th time. 6 times I tried to be successful in this business or that business or the other. But the 7th one was the one that I made it, that got me there. It may be that idea of embracing healing after heartbreak. Many of us have had relationships that, my goodness, we thought, oh my gosh, the hurt, the pain was so terrible that there's no way I'll get through it. But if you just go one day at a time, one moment, hey, instead of open here, let me just go join a club, the gardening club. Let me do other things. Let me meet other people. The point is that if you can see and act on it through faith, you can overcome any barrier, any limitation. So then what's it like to live beyond limitations? Well, it's like recognizing that you are more than your circumstances. We often talk about the prodigal son and how when the prodigal son was in the pig pen of life, he still recognized who he was. He said, hey, in my father's house, even servants have food enough and more. Then he said something critical. This is the crux of it all, folks. I will arise. I will take my consciousness to the next level and I will act on it. And I will go to my Father. I will go to my source. And so this idea of overcoming limitation is that it is a conscious decision to lean into your potential and to embrace growth. When we stop asking, what am I allowed to do? What do they permit me to do? And start saying, I'm capable of doing anything. I'm capable of becoming anything I need to be. You know, one of those real tough books, Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand wrote. And there's an interesting quote from Ayn Rand. It says, the question isn't who is going to let me. It's who is going to stop me. The question is not who's going to let me do something. It's about who's going to stop me from doing something. That's a powerful mind shift now. So that means that every limitation can be like a launch pad. Whenever you see a limitation or a challenge, it should inspire you to say, okay, this is a message for me to get better. This is a challenge not to imprison me, but to propel me to a different level. The difference between a piece of coal and a diamond is pressure. That pressure under which a piece of carbon must sustain itself. When that pressure happens, some carbon breaks and becomes powder, but other carbon sustains and becomes a diamond. And so when we look at overcoming limitations and living our lives beyond the limitations, it's the diamond nature in us that's coming out every time there's a block, every time there's a disappointment, every time there's a wall. That wall becomes a ladder that you can climb and get there. So then the question is, okay, well, how do I do it? What's the key to getting it done? How do I overcome limitations? And they're really, I love to think of 4 steps that can help you do that. That whatever you are confronting right now, change your mindset. The first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. Your thoughts shape your reality. So if you look at a limitation, you look at a wall and you flip the script and say, that wall is a ladder. And if I climb to the top of that wall, I can see further. When you begin to believe that you're capable, worthy, and equipped to succeed. Let me reframe that. Whatever the challenge is, believe first that you are worthy of the victory. Believe that you are capable of having the victory, and believe that you are equipped. In other words, you already have everything you need to get anything you want. So change your mindset. Second key, take consistent action. See, any limitation is designed to make you grow. But growth is a gradual process. Trees don't grow overnight. Plants don't grow overnight. It's a gradual process that gives you an opportunity to strengthen yourself. When you go to the gym, one of my good friends, Kenya Crooks, is a personal trainer to the stars, Mary J. Blige, many of the others. And one of the things he always shares is it's a gradual process. You set a goal and you start with 1 push-up, and then 2, and then 3, and then 5. That you do it gradually because it gives your entire body and your mind and your spirit the ability to sort of reorient itself to support your journey to the promised land. Small steps taken daily create momentum that pushes you beyond what seems impossible. You look at the physical world when you fly over the Grand Canyon and you see here's a big hole in the ground 1 mile deep. So how did that happen? It happened because water, the river, flowed consistently over that rock for millions of years, cutting a groove 1 mile deep. Similarly, anything that you want to do, any limitation that may appear that you become aware of, if you keep chopping at it, keep working at it on a daily basis, you can overcome it. Number 3. Now, this is a powerful one, people, because of all the things, this is probably the most challenging. Surround yourself with positive influences. Many times, the people closest to you may be the very ones who can't see the potential in you. Can you imagine who the prodigal son's friends were? Nobody ever talks about that. Who are the people around you when you end up in the pig pen of life? Well, obviously, there are other people who are in the pig pen there too. On the other hand, now, in order to get beyond the limitations that you have, surround yourself with positive people. All of us have some great stories. I see Joe joined us, and he tells stories how in overcoming the challenges of his life, somebody reached out to him. A rabbi friend guided him and gave him information. And if all of us think back, that those times when we made a big breakthrough in our lives, it's generally somebody there with the flashlight of wisdom and knowledge, with that motivation of encouragement to say, hey, you can do it. You can make this happen. You can get it done. The people around you either lift you up or pull you down. I was thinking once, if you're around people who don't believe in you, when it's like family, they're not people you can get rid of, it still undermines your spirit. It still undermines that thing inside you. It's almost like when you have to put up a shield to protect yourself from local negativity, that's a good sign that maybe you need to change your location. You know, every location has a vibration, and that vibration is the collective of the physical space, the people there, and all those consciousnesses that are operating in that space. So if you find yourself putting up shields all the time to protect your spirit and protect your goals and your vision, it may be time that it's time to move. It's time to leave this place. It's time to go someplace else. Many times it may not even know where you want to go, but you know, I got to get out of here. And then finally, the fourth key to living beyond your limitations is that shift to turn obstacles into opportunities. That every challenge, you know, in Chinese, the word danger is very similar to the word opportunity. So every challenge carries within it an equal portion of danger. Every challenge also carries a seed of equal or greater benefit. And so as you're moving through your life, when you experience these challenges, these limitations, these things that say you cannot do it, that's when you say, why not? Why not me? When you look at a challenge, you say, what can I learn and how can I grow to overcome this challenge? And then act accordingly. So let me just do a quick recap. Limitations begin in your mind. All limitations are illusions. Living beyond your limitations requires faith in yourself, in the process, in your source, and it requires vision of what you would like to be. Faith without vision leads to frustration. It's not enough to think differently. You must act differently. And then to follow these 4 steps that will help you go from where you are to exactly where you want to be. To change your mindset, to look at every challenge as an opportunity for growth, to take consistent action, small steps first, and build up that momentum. Except, as they say, failure, every failure is just a dress rehearsal for success. Every challenge is just a motivation to say how sweet it's going to be. Surround yourself with positive people. The mastermind principle is amazing. When you have people that encourage you, that send those positive vibrations, it lifts you up so that you can see more. When you're surrounded by motivating people, it's almost like when you come to that obstacle, come to that wall, their motivation, their belief in you lifts you up. So you don't even need a ladder. They tell you you can do it. They encourage you to do it. They act as if you've already done it. And then finally, just that turn obstacles into opportunity, to look at every Goliath as an opportunity to become king. If there was no Goliath, we would never be talking about King David. And so every challenge in your life should excite you to say, on the other side of no is yes. On the other side of where I want to be is yes, it can do it. So living beyond limitations is not about ignoring the challenges. It's about refusing to let them define you. Your past does not dictate your future, and any setback is just a setup for a comeback. You've seen people after failure, when they come back with a vengeance. So those of you who are listening on Instagram, on YouTube, on our mastermind group here, step forward, past your limitations, live that extraordinary life you were created for. Believe me, God did not create junk. The fact that you're alive right now means that there are important things for you to do. There's much more left in you. There's a lot of gas left in your tank. Limitations test us, but they should not stop us. With faith, courage, vision, and persistence, you can rise higher. You can go further. You can shine brighter than you ever imagined. Knowing that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment. Let this all sink in. And so it is. Thanks so much for being with us on Instagram, on YouTube, on our mastermind group. We're going to have our discussion in a moment. I invite you all to visit our website. You know, in these last months, as this year is, I don't like to say winding down. This year is winding up because every journey is an uphill journey. So as we rise up to the end of this year with great expectations, reach out to me. Go to our website, herbertharris.com, and book a success consultation. You may need just that one thought, that one push, that one concept to help you move to the next level. You may need some serious coaching, some serious insight, some experiential knowledge to help you move past the obstacles you're confronted with to go to the potential that you were created for. So once again, Dr. Herbert Harris, thanking each and every one of you for being with us today. Visit our website, www.herbertharris.com. Book a success consultation, get a copy of our book, and most of all, know with absolute assurity that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.